Hi everyone and welcome back. Ione City Council on Tuesday, August 7th, will consider a recommendation by its newly hired city manager, Edward Pattison, to form an ad hoc committee to respond to the 2011-2012 grand jury report. Pattison, in August 2nd report, recommended creating a committee to include 2 council members, himself, and the city attorney, saying it would have no financial impact other than staff time to prepare the response. He recommended the committee write a draft response to be presented to the full city council with time to prepare and submit a final response by the statutory deadline of September 19th. The grand jury is still investigating Ione. The 11-12 report included an independent financial analysis that looked at thousands of pages of documents, including the city auditor's report for fiscal years ending in 2006 to 2010. The report found Ione spent $2.29 million on a total of 5 different wastewater consultant engineers between those years and paid a legal firm $1.18 million between June 2007 and August 2011. Among findings, the grand jury said the city manager at the time did not demonstrate that she possessed the proper qualifications and expertise to perform the duties required for that position. It also found that the general plan created by the city manager and Pacific Municipal Consulting was unrealistically based on the financial infrastructure in place at the time. The report also said on many occasions the city manager provided insufficient or misleading information, making it difficult or impossible for the city council to cast intelligent votes. It was based on independent analysis of the city's local agency investment fund, about which complaints said it may have been improperly using restricted community facility district funds. The study showed that was not the case. The independent grand jury finance consultant Conrad Davis of Crow Howarth LLP in report said, "It's our understanding the city is in the process of reconciling the deposits and receivables related to the CFD to underlying supportive documentation. When issued, the audited financial statements and financial statements of findings for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2011 may confirm whether this issue remains a significant deficiency." The report found that the city manager and city council disregarded findings and recommendations of the 2010-2011 grand jury report and ignored complaints voiced by local citizens at city council meetings concerning financial matters and problems surrounding the proposed wastewater treatment plant. It also found that the money spent on consultants for the wastewater plant was unnecessary because it was based on an unrealistic general. The Amador County Unified School District Board of Trustees on Wednesday, August 8th, will consider reclassification of an administrative assistant position at North Star Independent Study School. The change would remove an administrative assistant 2 position of full-time 8 hours and replace it with a full-time equivalent secretary position at North Star. Trustees on Wednesday will also consider reinstatement of a full-time administrative assistant 3 position at Independence High School. The position changes were negotiated in a memorandum of understanding with the California School Employee Association Local Number 239 to restructure the positions. At the last Board of Trustees meeting, July 25th, 2 people spoke in support of keeping the administrative assistant job rating level in the position at North Star. Doug Turner, a North Star independent teacher, said he had just learned that the position was being changed to a secretary post. Turner said he felt that considering the consolidation of the administrator's position and the responsibilities of the secretary position, that it should not be a downgrade position. Court Stanberg, also a North Star teacher, also addressed trustees on July 25th and said he felt the change of the position would not be positive for North Star Independent Studies staff. He praised and emphasized the importance of the current administrative assistant, Mrs. Allen, at North Plymouth Planning Commission held a public hearing last week and slightly revised the downtown design guidelines, which will be taken to the City Council at a later date for a public hearing. On Wednesday, August 1st, the Planning Commission recommended the downtown design guidelines after a public hearing. The last time the Commission will see the guidelines before they are considered by the Plymouth City Council. City Planner Jeff Bilswanger said the design guidelines have been in the making for several years and were nearly approved by the City Council in 2009. Instead, the Council directed some changes and sent the guidelines back to the Commission, which returned them in April and held a public hearing last week. Bilswanger said no significant changes changes have occurred since the projects first started a few years back. In 2009, the council almost adopted the downtown design guidelines, but wanted a few changes made. It sat idle for a couple of years, and then the commission reinitiated the process of adopting them. It was idle because no development was occurring and also because of the staffing changes. The Plymouth City Council and the Planning Commission held a joint meeting in April and made some minor changes. One was the removal of a separate architectural review commission, and Bieswanger said that was eliminated with the understanding that the Planning Commission would serve as the review body for the design review. Other changes, including picking a palette of color for uniformity of color, they selected an earth tone color palette. Another issue that had considerable discussion but no changes was the boundary for the downtown area to be covered by the guidelines. The area will be downtown east to Highway 49 on the east side, and it continues to commercially zoned property on Main Street. Bieswanger said there will be a separate set of design guidelines for the Highway 49 corridor, which won't apply to downtown. He said it would be different, probably more focused on landscaping and more related to the visual aspects of its site planning, landscaping, and building form, rather than trying to match up with the historic character. The City Council will address the downtown design guidelines at an undetermined date after a required public notice period. The guidelines will not affect the Reeder Sutherland residential developments, which are planned developments that have separate design guideline documents that go. Amador County Unified School District Board of Trustees heard a report on the school district's air quality inspection from a professional with the district's insurance collective. Doug Carlson, loss control assistant with Pritchard Safety and Health, told trustees that he monitors air quality at school sites and facilities and how the tests are used to evaluate air quality and locate contaminants. He said, "Your interior air is good." Carson told trustees that it was critical that teachers keep running their heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, the high-vac systems, in order to get fresh air into the buildings and to keep carbon dioxide from building up. He said high levels of CO2 can cause burning skin and can affect learning and test scores. He said teachers must run the systems and not keep the high-vac systems off just to increase hearing between the front and back of the classroom. Carlson said his sampling looked at mold inside and outside the classrooms and buildings to see if some mold is more prevalent inside than outside. If there is more of a type of mold inside, then they can see if they can find the source of the mold. He said your interior air is good. And trustee Lynette Lipp said she's the one who asked for Carson's report, and she asked him if he knew about studies of using leaf blowers having the effect of increasing mold in the air. Carlson said he had never heard of it. Lipp said she could give the study information to him about that. The Amador Community College Foundation Board of Directors voted Thursday, August 2nd, to approve incorporation documents to file as a 501(c) nonprofit corporation. The Foundation Board met last week in a special meeting and regularly meets on the third Tuesday of the month. It will meet at schedule as August 16th. Karen Dickerson, Secretary of the Amador Community College Foundation, last week also announced that adult enrichment classes will begin in September, including a wine appreciation class and art appreciation class at the new Sutter Transit Center beginning the first week of September. Both courses are free with suggested donations of ACCF of $5 per session are encouraged. Registration forms and flyers are available online. The classes include the Everyday Guide to Wine class to help master the fundamentals, including the language of wine, basics of wine making, varieties of wine, and the world's great wine regions. Classes are 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Tuesdays through September 4th through November 20th. The 12-week series includes 24 lectures on DVD by Jennifer Samonte Bryan, Master of Wine, and discussions facilitated by Sean, the wine man, trail manager of the Amador Vintners Visitors Center in Plymouth. Trail has been part of the Amador County wine scene for 20-plus years. Another class, How to Look at and Understand Great Art, will help to master the fundamentals of art through discovering the artist's language, rich and varied genres, great eras, and visionary movements. It will include a presentation of 950 works of art. Class times are 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. on Thursdays, and dates are September 6th to November 15th and January 10th to February 21st, 2013. And the 18-week series consists of 36 lectures on DVD by Dr. Sharon Lacha Hirsch and class discussions facilitated by Dr. Pamela Sharp, Professor Emeritus of Art Education at San Jose State University. Sharp is a local artist who's the director and teacher of the Children's Studio in Sutter Creek. People interested in the class should enroll early as space is limited. Classes will be held at the Sutter Hill Transit, Valley View Road, and Sutter Creek. For information, see the AFC website. And a quick look at our weather. It's hot out there today, but it'll be getting hotter with a high of 97, a low of 63. Winds out of the west-northwest, 5 to 9 miles an hour. And on Wednesday, a high of 98. And on Thursday, a high of 101. And stay with us. When I come back, we'll have Al Lennox of the Amador Legion Ambulance. Stay with us. You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.